G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast. Today we're going to go through another Best 17 for season 2024. Today we're going to go through the Newcastle Knights. Got my 5'8 joining me once again. Kat, welcome back. What's doing?
Oh, just churning out content for you, Guru.
We are flying at the moment, aren't we? I'm sick of you. You're sick of me. It's all happening.
I never said I was sick of you.
Yeah, I don't know about it. Now, about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I was sitting on Instagram, TikTok, something, and this same video cat kept popping up on my Instagram of this girl who had a Jurassic Park soccer jersey or something, and I just kept watching it, and it kept, you know when you get those same things that keep popping up on your social media, and I sat there and I went, this girl is fucking hilarious. I would love to get her involved. I checked out her page. I noticed she did some very dribbly Newcastle Knights stuff, which I was all around. I mentioned it to Kat, and Kat, similar to that scene out of Elf, said, I know her. And I went, fantastic, let's get her in. Introducing Lavender, welcome.
Thanks for having me. I was waiting for that to go. This video kept popping up and she was so fucking annoying. But I'll take the compliment. Thanks for having me.
No, I like it. I love that jersey, by the way.
It's
not as much
so
as
good.
you, but I was a fan.
People keep sending me the bootleg version, and I reckon I've had it like 500 times. I'm like, I know that there's a bootleg version, but it's not the actual jersey. Send me the actual jersey and then we'll talk.
Do you think you're any sniff to get your hands on that jersey or what?
I think it's one of those ones that is probably the remaining jerseys are fossils, and it's just
okay.
like in someone's basement somewhere.
Yeah.
Or have been thrown out by someone's mum.
Well, to give you a little bit of hope, next to our Kalen Ponga bobblehead, which you noticed as soon as you walked in the door, which was fantastic, we've got a Jermaine Hopgood card there, right? Now, they make 100 of these a year, and they're numbered on the back. And I put out to my audience, I said, look, there's 100 of these signed Jermaine Hopgood ones. They're numbered 1 to 100. I said, I want the number 13 that he wore this year. Thinking I'll never see it. It'll just be funny content. I had the number 13 within a week.
That's
Anything is
good.
possible.
Anything is possible.
It was a real Walt Disney moment for me. So I'm not going to rule out you getting one of those Jurassic Park jerseys.
I mean, I feel like I manifested Bradman Best re-signing for the Knights. That was 100% my deal.
You're going to take responsibility for that?
100%.
Yeah, back that. No, I appreciate that. That's good.
100%. Club had nothing to do with it. It was all me. I did offer to pay his salary out of pocket so we could dodge
How
his salary
generous
cap.
of you. Very nice. I'm glad I don't have
The things I do.
Yeah, the things you do. Now, social medias, TikToks, where can everyone find you?
It's at Lavender Baj on Instagram and at Lavby on TikTok.
Fantastic. Now, you're Newcastle Knights. Would you say fanatic, super fan? How would you describe yourself?
I would say the single biggest Newcastle Knights and specifically Bradman Best fan to have ever lived. Bar maybe there's one guy in Newcastle that whenever they win a premiership, he paints his house red and blue stripes.
It's hard to compete with.
But if I owned my house,
I was
would
just
do that.
going to say, Lav, that's just because you're living in your parents' house. But I reckon as soon as you've got your own
if
place.
we win this year, I would do that, except I feel like if we win this year, I'm going to get my Bradman Best tattoo and I'm going to be evicted immediately.
Now, straight away, you just made me think about the first thing that I noticed when you came into the studio was potentially the greatest tattue I've ever seen.
The
Run us
greatest
through
so
it.
far.
So far, yeah. If you top that, I'll be very
will
impressed.
take over.
Talk to us about your tattoo.
It is the gummy Venus de Milo from The Simpsons.
Fucking love that.
Has absolutely no meaning other than liking The Simpsons, but everyone thinks it's the Statue of Liberty, which is so funny because I always go, that's such a dumb thing to get tattooed, and then they're like, so is the gummy Venus de Milo.
No, I'm all for it. When you walked in, like on the angle you were standing on, I'm like, I'm sure it's it, but I don't want to ask her if it's like a family thing or if it's something special to her.
my family
or
crest.
a cultural thing, and I ask her if it's a squished up lolly. But I was stoked, absolutely stoked to see it.
No, I'm a diehard
as it
Simpsons
was.
fan.
Fantastic. As am I. That is very, very good gear. My cat didn't really appreciate it, which was really disappointing. But my Supercoach team this year is Rancho Relo Maxo. Glad someone appreciates. Thank you.
Incredible.
I'm
We'll work
pretty
on that.
sure I laughed, but anyway.
Last year it was the Blurst of Hines.
Incredible.
Yeah, good gear. Very good gear. Now, Newcastle Knights, their best 17. I guess with trials and everything that have gone on, we've got a pretty decent idea of what the side will look like, and it probably is one of the more predictable sides. Would you agree?
Yeah, I feel like there's only like maybe one or two positions that I think are up for debate.
Yep.
They've got a strong team. They're going to be the best team. They're going to be the best 17 players.
What chance do you actually give of a Prem this year?
I mean, as someone that bets, I put good money on them every year to win the whole thing. I think we're going all the way this year.
I will say this about your side. I thought that the Newcastle Knights, when they took on the top teams last year.
Oh, we're great against top teams. We're just shit against bad teams.
Yes, it's bizarre. Like you actually, I thought that you guys competed against Penrith and Brisbane a lot more than what the Warriors and Melbourne did. Through every time you played them last year. So I was on About Even this morning. We had to nominate our grand finalists, and
did you nominate?
I had a close look at Newcastle. I went away at the last second, but I had a very, very close look.
I bet my life on us finishing top 4.
Wow. Okay. Big call.
But I also don't think that Penrith are playing the grand final this year.
Yeah, I've heard that. We've got a bone to pick there, but why? And I don't want to hear because I feel like a random team.
It's purely just a vibes thing. Something in the water.
I was going to say you do disclose a lot of your opinion based on vibes.
Yeah, based on vibes.
Yeah, I'll back that.
But I genuinely think with Newcastle, I think everybody is worried that no Dom Young, no fucking worries.
I actually don't think it'll impact you all that much.
I think we played so well without Kalen Ponga. If we can play well without Kalen Ponga, we can play well without anyone except Bradman Best.
Which takes us to our first player, KP. At fullback, picks himself there, coming off a Dally M season. I'm tipping him to win back-to-back Dally M medals.
Ooh.
How do you feel about that?
I wouldn't be mad about it.
I wouldn't imagine you would be.
I can't think of anyone else that I would. If not him, then who?
Yeah, well, the reason why, obviously KP's playing tremendous footy at the moment, but I think the way the Dally M system works, let's be honest here, it favours certain players in certain teams.
Yeah.
And I just think KP, the other guys in your side, I don't think Phoenix and Brayley are going to steal points off him. Jacko, he's a fantastic halfback, but he doesn't have all the highlights in the world. Same as Tyson Gamble. Even Jack Cogger, if he comes in. So, mate, I just feel like KP, and you don't have a Payne Haas. You've just got a good, solid forward pack. You don't have one out-and-out superstar. I just think KP's sitting in a spot where everything that happens at Newcastle happens through KP, as it should. I reckon he's going to kill it this year.
I love to hear this. You are nobody ever gives me hope about the Knights.
No, so I give them a lot of hope. Yeah, I'm very excited about them. KP at fullback, picks himself there, the skipper of the club. I imagine you love him as your captain.
Absolutely adore him.
I'll be honest, I was very sceptical of the move when you first made it, but I think he's grown into it incredibly well.
I think I've had moments with him where I've sort of been like, but I think after he went away to Canada, he came back and it was that I did cry watching this interview, which speaks volumes about my undying love for this club, because it was the interview where he was like, I'm sick of disappointing people. I've gone away. I've had a really long, hard think about it. Off the back of everything that happened early last year, late the year before, he came back and he was like, I'm sick of disappointing people. I just really want to do this club proud. I want to do my family proud. I want to do my fans proud. And then he won a Dally M.
He certainly did everyone proud. I thought when he did win that Dally M, it shipped me to no end listening to the robbed calls. A lot of Warriors fans upset that SJ didn't get it. My take on it, I'm keen to hear yours, was if SJ was so good, he probably should have got the Dally M medal over KP when KP spent half the season overseas.
That's my thing, is I think for a player that had an absolute season from hell last year, everything that could have gone against him, I thought he was going to retire.
Yep.
I'm honestly shocked that he did not retire. For him to come through and win that, to me, says that nobody else really stood a chance, which is why maybe you're right about him going back to back, because I think this year he's had all of the time, all of the medical expertise. If he won last year on how many games did he miss?
Yeah, he missed it. I think he only ended up playing 16 games at the end of the year.
Yeah. If he can do that, if he can win off 16 games, he can win off a full season.
I think as well, this time last year, I remember looking at pictures of KP training going, oh my God, he is huge at the moment. He's defending in the front line. He put on a heap of muscle, and it took him a lot of weeks to actually drop that muscle to get back to his top speed. This preseason, he comes in with a fullback body
Did you
ready
see?
to go.
Did you
Yeah.
see the Kalen Ponga in doubt because he swallowed a turtle? We sent that in one of our group chats, and our other dear friend, shout out Cass Sasso,
Yeah.
She
thought he'd actually swallowed a turtle.
She looped back to the conversation like 30 minutes later and said, guys, I just don't understand how he swallowed a turtle.
Because we just assumed that she realised it was a joke.
Got it, yeah.
Oh, it was so funny.
That's unreal. I'll tell you what else I love about KP, and we're going to move off him in a second, but
Oh, we can do a whole episode on KP if you want.
the Slim Shady hair,
Oh, yeah.
I'm all for it.
I feel like all NRL players fall into 4 categories. 1, they retire and do nothing.
Yeah.
2, they retire and coach. 3, they retire and become a pundit. 4, they retire and become an influencer. He is the stock standard, will become an influencer, and will be making bank from it.
If he doesn't, something's gone seriously wrong.
He's just a cool guy.
Yeah, he is a cool
I want to
guy.
get a beer with Kalen Ponga. Kalen Ponga, if you're watching this, Delaney, let's go.
Love that.
Can I do a killer transition for you?
Yes.
Coming in next is a player that Lavender has seen at the Delaney a couple of times.
Context, please talk to me.
We are talking about my boy Greg Marshu.
Correct.
The first time I ever met Greg Marshu, I was out at the Delaney with one of my mates who plays for the Jets. It was his first weekend in town, and I was like, right, we've got to go to the Delaney. It's the place to be.
Yep.
Got to give you the grand tour. You've got to see the plaque in the toilet, the whole shebang. And I'm on the dance floor after a few too many drinks. Someone comes up to me and grabs me by the top of the head and points at me and goes, I know you. And it took me probably 5 minutes of being like, what is going on? And it was Greg Marshu. Nicest man in the world.
Yeah, I've heard he's an absolute
An
legend.
absolute angel. I have nothing bad to say about that man.
Great to hear, because I drafted him in my Supercoach team this week, and I'm very excited about him.
He's
I
incredible.
don't know if that means anything to you, but it means a lot to me.
I'm backing him for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. On
Mostly
the other
for
wing,
him and for me, but also for you.
I appreciate that. No, I needed that. On the other wing, I believe Tuala has got this spot locked down. What are your thoughts?
Let me consult.
Get the coach on the dog and bone for us. Yeah, no, I'm pretty confident Tuala's got this spot sorted. You've obviously got a few players there that they could pick from. Price was obviously very impressive on the weekend. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see much of Mapalangi on the weekend. Got knocked out early. But Jenkins is the other option from Penrith, who I really like. But Tuala, I'm hearing, has got the spot. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
Not mad about it?
I feel like it's one of those ones that like maybe someone else could sneak in there, but I think
Who'd be your other person? Who were you? You seem a bit shocked.
I can't think of maybe I want to be contentious here, but I'm actually not. Because I can't really think of who I would prefer.
You came into this steaming with confidence into this segment, and it's come to nothing. I love this.
No, because I think I wanted to have a hot take, but I retract.
Yeah,
I'm gonna agree.
You came back freezing cold. I appreciate that. That's good. Let's move to the centres. You got obviously Dane Gagai coming off a career high year last year. He was tremendous. But I feel like we're not going to waste time on Dane Gagai.
No one's
Let's
going to
move
debate
straight
Gags.
to left centre. Take it away.
I want to hear yours.
I love Bradman Best. He came on my podcast probably 5 years ago now.
Are you about to not say Bradman Best?
What? Yeah, Bradman Best.
Okay, no, the way you started that, you're like, I love Bradman Best, and I thought you were about to like.
Oh, no, I was about to give him a rap.
I thought it was about to go, I love Bradman Best, but, and I was
I thought
going
you
to
were
go.
going to jump over and punch me then.
Yeah, no, I was going to, that would have been it.
No, I love
Our
Bradman
best
Best.
11 would have been best 4.5.
I had him on the podcast about 5 years ago, and I remember then he was just coming into first grade, and I remember him talking about how many injuries he'd had as a teenager. I remember sitting there going, oh, Christ, that's going to be hard to overcome. And then 4 years later, I was sitting there going, oh, my God, this is getting really tough for Bradman now. This is like almost 8 years of injuries. And thankfully, in the last 18 months, he seems to have got it sorted. And I think he has got potential over the next few years outside KP on that left edge to be one of the best centres in rugby league.
I think he is perhaps the single most underrated player in the NRL. That's my hot take. But I just think he is madly underrated.
I think he is underrated. I agree with you. Yeah. I think by the end of this contract, he won't be, though.
No.
I think he's going to
That's why we've got him, till 2027?
Yeah, I think it was a 3-year extension. So, yeah, 27, I'd say. Playing Origin last year showed what he could do on that stage. Absolutely dominated.
Everybody doubted him. We had a group chat going and one of our dear friends was like, what the hell is Bradman Best doing here? And I got so many, when he scored that first try, I got so many apology texts, I had to turn my phone off.
Well, I almost accidentally made you mad 15 seconds ago and you petrified me then. So I feel sorry for that person because that was terrifying. Anything else on Bradman Best? I don't want to cut you short.
Oh, he's just, they don't call him Bradman Worst. They call him Bradman Best. He's the best around.
He is the best around. He is sensational. Let's move to your halves. Obviously, Jackson Hastings at 7. Well, for me, obviously. Jack Cogger's joined the club. Would you still be going with Jacko at 7?
I think so. I feel like Cogger's definitely in contention for me.
Yep.
But perhaps I just have a soft spot for Hastings. But I think he's worked hard for it. And I think the fact that he's been there already, I don't think there's that much for me. I don't think Cogger is better enough than him. Is that the correct?
I understand what you're saying.
I don't think there's enough of a difference to put in Cogger over Hastings.
Let me ask you this. Is there enough of a difference between Cogger and Gamble to maybe put him at 5'8"? Or are you a Tyson guy?
Yeah, I could see him. That's one of my few that I could go either way.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like I've got 2 positions that I could go either way with.
Yep.
That's one of them. I like that we've got options.
Yep.
But I would potentially put Cogger over Gamble.
My argument all preseason was that Jackson and Cogger are too similar to be halves. I watched them on the weekend though, and I walked away from that thinking maybe this can work. But I love Tyson Gamble. I absolutely love and adore Tyson Gamble. Even I actually, as a 5'8", I actually don't think he's a tremendous 5'8", but I just love him as a bloke, as a footballer, and I love what he brings.
Are you sure you're not a closeted Knights fan?
I do.
I feel like you're basing a lot of things based on I just love this guy. He's just a good guy, and I respect it. That's how I do my footy tipping.
I appreciate good guys. I'm not going to lie. And there's a few of them in Newcastle, so I can get around them. I do like the Knights. How can you not like Newcastle?
I've been saying this for years.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of clubs and a lot of reasons why you can't like them, but the Newcastle Knights, honestly,
I don't think we've
got
got a single player that I think is unlikable.
Yeah, I think that's
on a
probably
personality
fair.
level.
Yeah. I think probably the one that people would say would be Jackson Hastings based on media bullshit. But
Jackson Hastings is a lovely
he's
man.
a legend, absolute legend. And people...
I will defend Jackson Hastings to the end of the earth.
Good. I'll be there at the other end of the earth with you too because he's an absolute legend.
This is just our Newcastle best 17 blokes.
Best 17 blokes, yes. Okay. The other advantage with Cogger, I think, for round one, well, not advantage, it sounds like Jaden Brayley's not going to be fit for round 1. So I think Jack Cogger will end up in jersey 14 for round 1.
I thought Brayley was fit for round 1.
From what I've heard, he could miss round 1 or the early weeks. He's not playing in the trial this weekend. So it might be touch and go. He might
Maybe
be able
I
to
saw
play.
news that said he would miss. I feel like I just saw something about it.
Yeah, I think it was he will miss round 1. So I think Cogger will be the 14.
He also swallowed a turtle.
He did.
Thoughts and prayers.
Something's going on up there in Newcastle. Awful few weeks to be a turtle. Let's move to the front row forwards. I've got A. Saifidi. I'd probably lean towards Jacob to start. You a Jacob or Daniel fan?
I'm going to say Daniel.
Daniel. Okay.
But they're both great blokes.
They are both great
Both in the
blokes.
top 17 blokes.
Good, fantastic. I would have one of them starting, one coming off the bench, and Lavender quickly becoming one of my favourite players in this competition is Leo Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
He has "Don't fuck with me" written on his forehead, and I am all here for it.
Oh, yeah.
He is terrifying. As far as like guys, I would not want to run in. I'm sure he's a nice bloke, but guys, I wouldn't want to run into in a dark alley.
You wouldn't want to run into him at the Delaney after a few drinks. I'm sure it'd be lovely.
Yeah, I don't want to find out though. I'll take your word for it. At hooker, honestly, when Brayley went down last year, I looked at your squad and just went, well, they're fucked. I don't know what they're going to do at hooker. I don't know who's going to play 9. It's going to be a bit of a travesty. Then Phoenix Crossland just blew it away. By the end, I went from thinking Phoenix Crossland is so far away from being a hooker, it's not even funny, to the end of the season going, Phoenix might be a top 5 hooker in 2023. It was unbelievable.
He's been in contention to not be in the 17.
For this year?
Yeah.
Oh, not in my universe.
But I rate him.
I honestly...
I didn't think I was going to rate him.
Yep, nor did I. Yep.
But I really do.
Honestly, if Jaden Brayley was fit, I would still consider starting with Phoenix Crossland and bringing Brayley off the bench. That's how good I think Phoenix was.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, no disrespect to Jaden Brayley, but I feel like he's been out so much that like in my brain I just sort of forget. When I see his name pop, I'm like, oh yeah, we have Jaden Brayley.
He was our club captain before he got injured.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. But when you look at like, if you want, and you have to look at it from this perspective sometimes, if you look at the money, you're probably playing Jaden Brayley compared to Phoenix Crossland and what you get out of both. Phoenix becomes like the value on Phoenix Crossland is very, very appealing. He got you to finals. You know he can do it. So Phoenix, a breakout season last year. He was tremendous. Let's move into the second row. Now, Tyson Frizzell, rumours where he'd be on the left. Sounds like he'll be on the right now, which I'm okay with. But we know Tyson Frizzell, absolute gun, champion fella. Let's move to that left edge. That's where it becomes interesting. Dylan Lucas, Kai Pearce-Paul, talk to me.
This is the only, I think, the Knights 17 is pretty much on lock, bar this position. And Kat told me yesterday we're doing a Knights 17. And I reckon I sat on this for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I see the Kai hype. I respect it.
Yep.
But I just really think I'm a Dylan Lucas girl.
Yeah, I think Kai Pearce-Paul has got huge potential. Huge potential. I think he could have a huge season here for the Newcastle Knights, but Dylan Lucas has been there and done it and continues to do it.
He's earned his stripes.
He has. You can't deny that he hasn't earned his stripes. And Kai Pearce-Paul will be the flashy, exciting prospect, but to me, Dylan Lucas looks like he will just never let you down.
But I think my fear is we had such a solid year last year, and I think we had a really good thing going. My biggest fear for our downfall is that we're going to get too caught up in what's going to be what's flashy and new, rather than going, Dylan Lucas has earned his stripes here. He deserves that position.
I think as far as your club goes and what your franchise is built on and the people of Newcastle, Dylan Lucas suits it down to a T. He is tough as nails. He just goes about his work. He puts his head where most wouldn't put their foot. I love everything about him, but this Kai Pearce-Paul, just feel like he's got some huge upside.
I do. I am noticing a theme here. It seems like the only downfall that we have going into this season is that we have too many good players.
It's honestly the greatest problem to ever have.
We are debating, which is so nice, because I feel like for years we were like, fuck, we're debating between, I don't want to name names and offend anyone, but we're debating between like the lesser of two evils. And now we're like, oh, cool. We've got Dylan Lucas or we've got Kai Pearce-Paul. We've got two great players who both in their own right deserve that spot.
The squad that you've built, the 30, is unbelievable. And I assume you're referring to the dark days of 15, 16, around that period where it was an absolute shit fight. It is the complete opposite now. You've honestly got arguably one of the best squads of 30 in the competition.
I love to hear it. This makes me so, I've been waiting so long. It has been so many years of me being like, the Knights are winning. They're going to win the season, and then being so disappointed. At least last year, we came close. We didn't come close to winning.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question to you both? Who do you think, you obviously have a preference between Kai Pearce-Paul and Dylan Lucas, but who do you think actually fits Adam O'Brien's system the best?
You want to go first? Or do you want some time to think? I'm going to take that as some time to think.
Yeah, you go.
Okay. I think Kaipe is Paul. They're very excited about him. They've brought him over for a reason. But I think, and you know what, we haven't actually seen Kaipe's Paul in the NRL yet. But I come back to that point. You know Dylan Lucas will do a job every single week. The problem with English players that come over, you don't know if they're going to handle the physicality of the NRL. There's a lot of unknown factors that go into it. I really want it to be Kaipe's Paul because I drafted him in my Supercoach team. But after last week, I'm sort of leaning towards Dylan Lucas.
I agree. I don't know. Adam O'Brien gives me real, like, for lack of a better word, boring energy. I think he's got a thing that's working and I don't really see him pivoting away from that.
Yeah.
Especially not, like, we've come off such a high last season. There is more pressure on us going into this season than there has been for so many years.
Yeah.
Because for the first time ever, people are like, Knights? Good at rugby league? Question mark?
There's expectation this year.
And now there's expectation that I think half of the people are expecting us to do well.
Yep.
Half of them are waiting for our downfall. Mm-hmm. Adam O'Brien is in a position where he needs to just keep his head on, keep everyone else's head on, and just go heads down, ass up. Let's get this done and get through. I think maybe round 4, round 5, he might spice things up a little.
Okay.
But I don't see him rocking the boat, because if he rocks the boat and does all these big showy things, round 1, round 2, round 3, and we fuck it up, can I swear?
Yeah, go for it.
And we fuck it up,
Let's get real, Newcastle.
we are going to be sitting there looking like idiots. And then this huge hype that we built around what this club could be dies.
Yeah. When you say heads down, ass up stuff, I think Dylan Lucas.
Yeah.
That's the guy I think of straight away there. Let's move to jersey 13. I think Adam Elliott picks himself there, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's take us to the bench. And jersey 14, I mean, that will come down to, I think it'll be Cogger round 1 if Brayley isn't fit. If Brayley is fit, it'll be Brayley or Phoenix, depending on who they choose to start with. That might even change week to week throughout the season. We have the other Saifidi on the bench. You have the other Lucas or Kaipe Paul will be the other guy on the bench. Leaves one more bench spot. Here, there's probably 2 guys that come to mind for me, Jack Hetherington and Croker. Who would you lean towards here?
It's a tough one. I feel like it's got to be Croker for me.
I love Croker. As a fella, I'm a huge fan.
He's on the 17 best blokes. He gives me huge energy of somebody that will one day, like, become a big leader of our club.
Yeah, I think he's got huge potential too. Yeah. I remember the boys came down and filmed a 257 episode in Bloke Studios, and I was there that day. And obviously, Connor and KP are legends, both of them, but Matty Croker, he's one of the nicest blokes I have ever met, and he just feels like he is Newcastle down to the core.
And I think that's the thing, not to be on my soapbox of my rugby league club is better than everyone else's because we're from the regions.
Yes.
But I think you can go to a Cronulla, a Roosters, a Souths. I'm waiting for Kat to be upset. But you can go to one of those clubs and it doesn't really matter. It's just about, like, if you're a good player.
Yeah.
Coming to Newcastle, you have to be a good player, but you also have to fit the town.
Yeah.
This is a town that when rugby league is good, everybody gets around it. I remember it was one of our last home games of the season, and I had to pull strings and get a friend of a friend's brother's girlfriend's tickets.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even have a Knights membership because I was like, I just buy tickets when I can go.
Yeah.
And I couldn't buy a ticket.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time you couldn't buy a ticket to a Knights game.
It's one of the great sporting cities in this country, for sure. Newcastle.
We do sport well.
Yeah.
Which is what I love because we also get around the girls.
Yeah.
When the girls do well,
Bloody oath.
gender doesn't matter. People are just like, fuck yeah, the Knights are doing well.
What a girls' team you've got, by the way.
Is this the year?
The double.
Oh, I've just realised.
You're a sniff, I think.
This could be the year. This has made my year, this realisation.
You might
We could go three-peat and win the men. I genuinely think I would die from alcohol poisoning.
I'm going to throw him. I'm going to throw in another one. You could go back-to-back Dally M medals, male and female, with your fullbacks.
Back-to-back Dally M, three-peat women's, men's first premiership since 2001. I would have a heart attack.
Yeah, that's a full Lavender conniption.
I would actually drop dead. Like, I remember it was our last game of the season. And was the last game? The last game that Bradman Best scored a try, which I think was our last game of the season.
Yeah, I think it was.
And I immediately got a text from my dad going, don't even think about it. No context. He was just like, you're going to get the tattoo and you're going to regret it. Do not even think about it.
Think about it. That's unreal.
So I would die if that happened. But I'm not. I know every year I say that we're going to win everything. This is the first year that it could happen.
It's got some substance behind it this year.
Yeah, I'm not just talking shit at this point, which feels so refreshing.
So refreshing.
I've been talking shit for 20 years about the Knights, and this year it's coming around.
That's unreal. I love that. All right, that'll do us for our Newcastle Knights Best 17. Remind us again, where can they find you on socials and whatnot?
At Lavender Baj on Instagram, at Lav Baj on TikTok.
That's it?
Yeah, that's me.
I love the amount of times you've had thinking pauses and it's just dead air.
Cut them out and just make me look like I've got thoughts.
Kat, we've got a good little find here.
Yeah. She's a golden one. She's great.
I'll be
Love
back
that.
when the Knights win. Actually, I won't. You have to send Kat up to Newcastle. Kat will be the roving reporter in Newcastle with her microphone.
Yeah.
We're outside the Delaney Hotel, where local woman is passed out in the gutter.
Greg Marshall holding her by the skull once again, keeping her stable. How good. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it as always. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me.